Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. This is a very crazy video because we are going to be suggesting one player from every Premier League rival that Arsenal should sign. So from Manchester City to Norwich, I'm going to be suggesting one player that we should sign. Of course, you're going to join me in the comments below. But this is a very, very unfair video because you only have one slot. Remember, there are 20 Premier League teams, but Arsenal, we cannot sign a player from Arsenal. So I'm going to be naming players from 19 teams, and you can only suggest one player to make them 20. I repeat that, one player from from any team that you think will actually be an upgrade to Arsenal. Let's get our party started. I've started with Manchester City, and I've gone with Rodri. Now, Rodri is one of the best for me central midfielders in the world. He plays just like Xhaka, but a little bit of an upgrade. Jorginho, Conte. And I think if Arsenal got Rodri, I looked at Manchester City. There's so many players I could go for. Grealish, Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne. There's so many players. There are Ruben Dias, but I've gone with Rodri. We need a central midfielder. There is no question about that. In the summer, I know we'll try to go for a central midfielder. And what a better way to fill that position with a player who's worked under Mikel Arteta at Manchester City, but also a Spaniard who really understands the basics of total football. Rodri, lads, for me is the player I would take from Manchester City. What do you think? Liverpool, I've gone with Diogo Jota. Now, I've gone with Diogo Jota because he's phenomenal, lads. He's phenomenal. Look, there is Salah, there is Mane, there is Luis Diaz. You could sign anyone at Liverpool. I thought about Trent Alexander-Arnold, but in my opinion, I would go with Jota. And the reason that's why I would go for Jota, lads, listen, lads, we need a centre forward, but we also need someone who can give us that rest assurance that the goals are really going to be coming in, and I would really go for Jota. This season already, he has scored 14 goals for Liverpool with 1 assist. That is 15 goal involvements. Actually, as per time of recording, he did score against Watford in their recent game. So that means he scored 15 times in the Premier League and assisted once. Those are 16 goal involvements for Diogo Jota this season. Absolutely phenomenal that lad is. Definitely, I would go for Jota. But let me know from Liverpool, which player would you go for? I said one player. In the comment below is all you can do. So one player, just let me know one player that you would sign from the Premier League. It's a really selfish video, right? Chelsea number 3. I've gone with Romelu Lukaku. I can see that feeling in your blood boiling. I can see your face frowning. But yes, I would go for Romelu Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku has not had a very, very good start to his life. At Chelsea from Inter Milan, scoring only 5 goals this season. It is absolutely below average. But I think Arsenal could actually use the services of Romelu Lukaku. Because if you look at the strength of Romelu Lukaku, he can't score the goals. He's really, really powerful. And also the ability to play with his back facing the opponent's goal is one of the things I would really, really take him for. It just reminds me of Alexander. Like I said, he really, really works hard as a player. I think the environment ever since making those comments on at Chelsea, on Sky, it doesn't really I don't really think he's actually going to thrive at Chelsea and the Stamford Bridge. I don't know if Chelsea could sell. It could be really, really expensive, but I think he's one player that if Arsenal got, we might actually not regret. I mean, that is my opinion. Let me know. But I think Romelu Lukaku, there's some goals in there in the Belgium, and I think Arsenal could unlock his career again. Number 4, Tottenham Hotspur. I've gone with Harry Kane. Now with Tottenham Hotspur, I thought about a couple of players. I thought about Son. I thought about Bentancur. I also thought about Dejan Kulusevski, the new signing from Juve. But I've decided to go with Harry Kane. Lads, Harry Kane is unstoppable. Look, when you're looking at players that can finish, when you're thinking about players that can score, Harry Kane is there. Just imagine this season, he's not actually having the best season of his life. Can you imagine? He's already scored 12 times and assisted 5 times. That means he has 17 goal involvements in the Premier League this season, and that means for at least now 5 seasons in a row he has recorded double figures in terms of scoring and assisting for Tottenham Hotspur. It is time for him to move on. Yes, Antonio Conte says, look, I want him to stay, and I would really understand the fact that Antonio Conte believes he wants to build Spurs around Ken, but Ken wants to go to Champions League football and Ken wants to win. So if Arsenal ever get Champions League football, in my opinion, we could take Harry Kane. I don't know what you think. Number 5, Manchester United. I would go with Paul Pogba. Now, Paul Pogba is one of those players that are having a hard time in their careers. He's already come out this season, and a couple of on a couple of times during international breaks, and he said, "Look, guys, I'm really frustrated. This Manchester United side is killing my career. I'm not winning. I need to win. I need to reset, and I need to go somewhere else." And in my opinion, lads, I think Mino Raiola is a problem. And when I think about Paul Pogba and Raiola, I step back a minute and I say, wait a minute, don't come close to Arsenal, because I know the kind of jeopardy Mino Raiola can bring to a club if he has an agent there. But nevertheless, lads, we need a central midfielder. And how many players can I think about that are better than Paul Pogba in that role in the world? One of the best central midfielders in the world. How many can I think about? Maybe Ryan Gravenberch. I'm just suggesting. Maybe Ryan Gravenberch. Maybe. But Pogba, lads, is world class. I mean, there is no question there. I thought about a couple of players at Manchester United, Jadon Sancho, and Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, those ones are untouchable. But Paul Pogba, his contract runs down in the summer. Could Arsenal use that as an excuse, at least to go for Rashford? I would rather go for Paul Pogba. Of course, lads, let me know in the comments below if I'm actually still on the right track or I'm actually blabbering real nonsense. Number 6, Wolves. I've gone with Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves is a very good player. I think Arsenal are really interested. According to Nicolo Shearer, he's one of the players that Arsenal will try to sign come the summer of 2022. However, today, a Wolves manager, Bruno Lage, has come out and said, look, he's one of the very good players we want, we have, and we want him to stay. However, if he decides to move on, then that is football. It would be a huge loss for us. But one thing I'm going to say about Ruben Neves is he's a Mikel Arteta kind of player. He's a Mikel Arteta type of player. He fits the profile of the midfielder Mikel Arteta wants. And this one, like a Prophet Cossy, like Prophet Muhammad Cossy, I will be not surprised if Arsenal really try as much as they can to land Ruben Neves in the summer. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I would definitely 100% take him at the Emirates Stadium. Moving on, lads, number 7, I've gone with the Aston Villa, and that is Douglas Luiz. Yes, that is the name. He's free in the summer. I think more and more chances and more points are pointing the fact that Douglas Luiz could actually be moving away from Aston Villa. Arsenal could be a destination. A couple of other clubs are interested, including Manchester City. Now, that is where the point is. If Pep Guardiola is interested in Douglas Luiz, 100%, lads, I'll take him at Arsenal. Obviously, we know, of course, City also wanted Fred. I don't know if Fred is really good enough, but I would say Douglas Luiz, 100%, I would take him, especially as a free agent in the summer from Aston Villa. Aston Villa has quite a couple of players, Oli Watkins and a couple of others, but I would definitely go for Douglas Luiz because we need a central midfielder. We cannot afford to lose such an opportunity. Number 8, I've gone with Leicester City, and there I've gone with Yuri Tielemans. £25 million is what Leicester City will be actually asking for. His contract runs down in the summer of 2023, and he really doesn't have any other hopes of signing a new contract with the Foxes. Now it looks like the player wants to play Champions League football, so Arsenal should and must work very hard to get back to UEFA Champions League. At least this time we cannot fare. But Yuri Tielemans, lads, is a very good midfielder. This season, he has not had the best of his seasons, but listen to the statistics: 6 goals and 2 assists, as compared to Ruben Neves' 4 goals and 2 assists, and Douglas Luiz's 1 goal and 3 assists. So it's really, really better than so many central midfielders in that league of the mid-table. So what do you think about Yuri Tielemans? Do you think he's good, or do you think his defensive disabilities would actually deter Arsenal from getting him? West Ham, lads, in number 9. West Ham have gone with Jarrod Bowen. Now with West Ham, it's been a little bit difficult because I thought about a couple of options. West Ham there, Mikel Antonio, and I was like, wait a minute. Mikel Antonio, we need a striker. But Declan Rice as well, another very, very tempting talent, especially with the fact that we need a central midfielder. But this time I've decided to go for something different. Jarrod Bowen, oh my God, 8 goals this season, 8 assists this season, 16 goal involvements for the lad. He's unplayable. He's really, really, really unplayable. And of course, the manager there, Moyes, has come out and said, look, Declan Rice is known for sale. Any club that wants him, they should be able to pay anything north of £100 million. Come on, David, that is crazy. But obviously, I could care less. Jarrod Bowen would be the player I would go for at West Ham. Number 10, Southampton. No other than the captain, James Ward-Prowse. He's magnificent. 6 goals and 4 assists this season. 10 goal involvements for the Saints this season. This campaign, I just feel like James Ward-Prowse is going to be a long-serving player for Southampton. But if he needs a change, if at one point in time he needs a change, I'll definitely take him on Arsenal. Probably not as a starter, 100%. But if you ask me, look, there's so many good players there in that Southampton side, and many of you would say, Cossy, they're not. After all, there are not so many good players in there. There's so many good players there. You have Tino Livramento, on loan from Chelsea. I think it's exciting. You have Kyle Walker-Peters. I think it's exciting. But I would go for James Ward-Prowse. Number 11 there, I've gone with Crystal Palace, and I've gone with one man. Guess the name in the comments below. Just guess the name. Conor Gallagher, you guess right. Lads, look, it's unbelievable. Conor Gallagher, the kind of form this lad is putting up, the kind of momentum, the kind of football he's playing. I mean, if Gareth Southgate does not take him to the World Cup, sack him, England. Sack him unless he wins it. But if he doesn't take Conor Gallagher and they don't win it, just sack him. So lads, I've gone with Conor Gallagher there for Crystal Palace. I would sign Conor Gallagher this season. 8 goals and 3 assists. It is phenomenal. It is just really, really phenomenal. Of course, Brighton in number 13. I've gone with Tariq Lamptey. Now, Tariq Lamptey is not having the best of his seasons. He's really, really injury prone in the last 2 campaigns. He's been disturbed by injuries, but of course, we know the kind of talent he is, and I would definitely go for him at Brighton. Ahead of players like Trossard, who I think is really, really exciting. I would definitely go for Tariq Lamptey. Let me change my light because it's blinking, and then we continue with the video. Right, lads, I've changed the light, so let's continue with our video. So from Brighton, I've gone with Leeds. I've gone to Leeds, and I've decided to go for Calvin Phillips. Now, it's a very, very difficult one here for Leeds because I thought about Rafinha and the fact that Mikel Arteta is looking for a player just like Rafinha. But then I thought about priorities. He's been injury prone this season. It's been very, very unfortunate because he had a very, very good campaign at the Euros. I thought this would be the campaign where he actually shows us why he is one of the favorites in that team for Gareth Southgate. However, he's actually recorded very, very few games. I think only 10 games this campaign. Assisted only once. He's really not played the minutes that we actually expect him. But we know the level at which Calvin Phillips can be at. Aston Villa are interested, and I think for me, as Arsenal look for a central midfielder, Calvin Phillips from Leeds is one player we should be thinking about. Brentford then, lads, I've gone with Ivan Toney. Is there another player I would have gone for Brentford? Let me know. But I've gone with Ivan Toney this season. Listen to these statistics. 11 goals in this campaign. You cannot believe that. Of course, look, Some of them are penalties, around maybe 4 or 5 are penalties, but that doesn't take away the fact that he's come from the championship with Brentford and he's actually really done very well for them. 11 goals this campaign. No player at Arsenal has scored 11 Premier League goals. No, I'm not really lying. Would I take him as Arsenal's maybe marquee major signing as the number 9? Probably not. But if you ask me if I would take him as a backup player, as a backup striker, maybe yes, because he's got what it takes, and of course he can play with his back facing the opponent's goal. Yeah, I always remember that because Mikel Arteta wants such a player. So I'll definitely take that man there from Brentford, Ivan Toney. Newcastle then, lads, I've gone with my man Bruno Guimaraes. They stole him, and if there is a chance for us not to steal Bruno Guimaraes yet again, I'll definitely take that. Bruno Guimaraes, what a player, is one of the best central midfielders I think we have in the Premier League now. He's had a very good start to his career at Newcastle. Obviously, we expected him to hit the ground running, and he's actually done that. Look, I think, honestly, if Arsenal did get Bruno Guimaraes alongside Thomas Partey, would have had one of the best and most complete central midfields in the world. I am not really lying, because Partey, Guimaraes, both of them are really strong defensive wise and they can progress the ball into dangerous areas. Maybe they cannot create so many chances as a duo, but we could care less because we have Martin Odegaard. But Newcastle, lads, I thought about Alex and Maximin, but then I thought, no, Newcastle, it should be Bruno Guimaraes. Moving on to Everton is Abdoulaye Doucouré. Everton has very many good players in there. Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin linked to Arsenal. But for me, if you ask me which one player would I go for at Everton, is Abdoulaye Doucouré. I think Abdoulaye Doucouré is just a representation of what Mikel Arteta is looking for. I wonder how he went from Watford to Everton and how he's gonna get relegated with Everton and stay down with Everton. Actually, I do not believe he will stay down, but he might go to a club like maybe Aston Villa or maybe any other Premier League mid-table club. But in my opinion, Arsenal should go for Abdoulaye Doucouré. He's so good. He plays he plays that box to box very good, and I think that is what Mikel Arteta is looking for. He can hold the ball as a player, but one of the basic attributes I love about him, he's got the Conor Gallagher effect. He always runs around that penalty area. You might think he's not playing in a pivot, but at times, and most of the times, he plays in that supportive role in the pivot. So Abdoulaye Doucouré, lads, get him. Go get him, Arsenal. I'll definitely take him from Everton. Moving on to Watford, Emmanuel Dennis. What are the numbers for Emmanuel Dennis? I hear you ask. 9 goals and 5 assists. That is a player playing for a side who's who might need water. They might get relegated. Honestly, lads, they might get relegated, but they have a player who's got himself involved in 15 Premier League goals so far. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Like, I can't bring myself to think about it. Emmanuel Dennis, he's absolutely superb. And what a signing they really made. Honestly, I also thought about Ismail Sarr at Watford, really doing very well. The likes of Joshua King and Sissoko, but I would definitely take Emmanuel Dennis ahead of all those. Burnley, in position 18 is Burnley, and from Burnley, I think I'll take Maxwell Cornet. That is the man I'll take from Burnley. 6 goals ever since signing from was it Lyon? Yeah, I think it was Lyon from the French League 1. That is, I can confirm that. Did he sign from Lyon or Olympique Marseille? I think it was Lyon. But what an impact he has had as a player. So I'll definitely take Maxwell Cornet from Burnley. And to be honest, lads, there are not so many players I'll take from Burnley. Maybe Dwight McNeil. Maybe the goalkeeper as well, Nick Pope. But in the end, I'll go with Maxwell Cornet. And lastly, Norwich City. One player from Norwich City. I'll take Max Aarons. Max Aarons is having a very bad season. Only 1 assist this campaign is despicable. But remember in the summer, we were much interested in him. And even in the summer before that, Bayern Munich were very, very interested in him. They wanted to sign him. However, Norwich City blocked the move. If they get relegated, which I think they will actually do, I doubt he wants to go back to the relegation with them top talent. I think he needs a good manager that can actually manage him very, very well. In my opinion, Max Aarons to Arsenal for a bargain. I think at this time we can even get him for 10 or even cheaper, 10 million or cheaper. Let's do that. Max Aarons is one player I would sign from now. So lads, that is it. One player Arsenal should sign from every Premier League rival, and your job now is to go down in the comment box and let me know which one player do you think, only one player, only one, do you think Arsenal should sign from the Premier League? And I'll speak to you in the next one.